Now, if you're watching, I got some technical difficulties here. Let me restart this and I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm not real sure what's going on here. I can't see my camera here. Don't have a USB camera. Yeah, I got a new computer, so let's see if I can turn the chat on so I can see the chat. So anybody can see me all right? I don't think this is going to work. All right, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to restart the browser and I'll be back in a minute. All right, that's better. Apologize for that. So can everybody see me? Anybody here? Well, I guess I can't see the chat messages. So the point of the broadcast this morning was I wanted to go over some of the reasons you might want to scope in your diagnostic strategy. So kind of hoping to have a few more viewers this morning, but I guess we'll see. See if we can grow this up a little bit here. Maybe we'll do this every week. So I have just a little bit of history here. So you guys know I've been in the auto repair industry since the mid 80s or so. Professionally, I started working on cars and getting paid for it in the late 80s. I started like a lot of guys do. A lot of the older guys started out pumping gas, fixing tires, that kind of stuff. And one of my early mentors was a guy that worked at a gas station. That uh, his complete theory was that you didn't put a part on a car until you 100% confirmed that that's what was wrong with it. And that's always stuck with me because he was a guy that worked at the local gas station and had a small group of customers. And he used, of course, the scope hung from the ceiling at the time, but he used the scope on almost every car that came in the garage. Now, cars are completely different today. I understand that. We've got scanners with refresh rates that are comparable to a scope sometimes. I don't think they are, but as the 90s came on, you saw uh, the handheld scopes come around, and then you saw them start to get some capabilities, and then the PC-based scopes started coming along. And what you saw was the manufacturers, they went from having scopes in the shop to not having scopes in the shop to now they're putting scopes in the shop. So if the manufacturers have seen the value of putting a scope in the shop, uh, don't you think maybe it should be part of your daily routine? Now, I know that dealers have a lot of specialty tools, stuff like that, that we have figured out how to get away without in the aftermarket. And to be honest, most of the guys in the dealerships have figured out how to get away without them too, because uh, it's hard to find those tools when they need them because it's one toolbox. So I just wanted to go over, the whole thought of shops having scopes in the shop, or you learning how to use a scope. In my opinion, is it separates you from everybody else, the competition. You learn how to use a scope, you become a verifier of the repair. You know what parts needs to be put on, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and I've said repeatedly on the scopes, I don't really care what kind of scope you start with. When you start learning the limitations of your scope, you'll understand what you want to buy in your next scope. But until you know the limitations of what you've got, there's no real reason to buy a fancy scope, in my opinion. Now, a lot of guys will spend the money on a Pico to get started, learn how to use it. I'm perfectly fine with that if you're going to use it. There's nothing any more frustrating for a guy like me that sells equipment to go into a shop and the equipment that you sold the shop 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago is still sitting in a box on a shelf or locked in the owner's office because it was expensive and he's afraid it's going to get damaged out in the shop. I get it. I understand that. But if it's not out in the shop, it's not making any money. So what you've done is you've protected a piece of equipment from getting damaged. And then at the same time, you haven't seen the value of that tool. So when it's time to update that tool, whether it's a scope or a scanner or whatever it is, when there's an update and it's time to pay for it, the owner sees it as it's just been in the office for 3 years. Why should I bother doing the update on it? Or if it had been out in the shop and became part of the diagnostics routine, yes, it might have gotten damaged. Yes, the leads might have gotten shut in a door or pulled out or broken. But your shop would have made money with that piece of equipment. There's a lot of shops today that have scopes in their shops that don't get used. I've seen many scopes that are getting ready to be traded in on a new level scanner or whatever, and the scope leads are like brand new. And to me, that's disgusting. Oops, sorry about that. All right, so I just wanted to go over a little bit about why I think you need a scope in the shop. And maybe I didn't make myself real clear, but if you want to become a leader in this industry, if you want to become the go-to guy in this industry, my opinion is that you need to start that with a scope. Yeah, the scanner is great. I fixed more cars with my scope than I've ever fixed with my scanner. And a lot of times the scanner is misleading. You can look at some data, you can scroll through the data. A lot of guys will replace, or a lot of technicians will replace parts based on codes. I think that comes from the parts store mentality. Nothing, I don't think, does our industry any more disservice than the parts stores putting parts on based on codes. So anyway, I guess thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to get a notification. I'm probably going to try to do these on Thursdays in the morning, probably 7:05 in the morning, something like that. Hopefully we can get more of a discussion going next time, have a few more viewers. Have a great day.